but I do not. And specifically because I'm still sort of jet lagged and it's also extremely late here. I have no capacity for.
Well, you did the thing, so
Okay,
that's
we're
what
up.
matters.
We're good.
Are we? Hold on, I don't see it yet.
Oh, it comes up quick for me.
Well, because
That French Wi-Fi, you know?
you're also like you own the account, so it's
Right.
going to
Well,
come up
yeah,
very
that's true.
quickly for you.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, because I have to mute it so that it doesn't make like a crazy bunch of noise
Yes,
in
the feedback is
feedback.
is quite terrible.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Uh, all right, everybody. You're listening to MLVC, the Madonna podcast, your place for all things Madonna Louise Veronica Ciccone. I am your tour celebration tour correspondent, Stefan, coming to you live from Paris, France.
It's
And
very exciting, Stefan.
this is Ben. Y'all
This
know
has been I'm your pitch hit
that.
co-host for the evening because I will be interviewing Stefan about his wonderful Paris experience.
Thank you,
The
Ben. Thank you, Ben.
interviewee becomes the interviewed. So,
Ta-da!
well, actually, the interviewer becomes the interviewed, but whatever.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
All right, so let's
Let's
dive
unpack.
in.
Let's do it.
The outfit. Talk to us.
Have you seen the
Oh,
outfit?
I saw it. I looked while you were talking earlier.
Ben Ben
Everyone
had
you
been had Ben had not been online all day today, and he was telling. I was like, the outfit. First, let me unpack this. So, outfit was by Tom Tom Fashions. I had a really great idea since Madonna was reinventing her songs and her looks for this tour that I would sort of jump on that bandwagon. And so I went, and because I had danced on stage with Madonna wearing the Tom Tom Fashions t-shirt, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun if I sort of like amped that up a little bit? And so I had this crazy idea of like taking this powder blue suit that I had gotten and just having it all with that look. And it was a lot of look when it arrived in the mail, and Tom Tom Fashions did a bang up job for it. But let me tell you, Paris was giving me some looks because I was traveling by myself to the venue, and it was people were like they had no idea what to make of it. It made sense once I got to the venue, but it was interesting. Yeah, it was. I got some like a lot of compliments. People were loving it once I got
Oh,
there. But
they're loving it in the chat as well.
oh,
There's actually a
nice.
couple people in the chat who also just got home from the show. So you're
Nice.
not alone in your pain and your fatigue and but you're
Yeah.
here for your love.
I'm still buzzing a little bit. Whenever I've spoken to anybody and they're like, I can't go right to sleep, that's sort of how I feel. Like my ears were still ringing up until about 10 minutes ago.
Oh
And
wow.
um, I mean, I'm starting to, the crash is starting to come down, but I had to
That
eat.
see, but that's why Paris, London, or New York are the places to go see Madonna, because frankly, you should just stay out the rest of the night.
People were like, are you going to the after party? I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no. I'm like, I'm doing this again tomorrow. I'm like, I gotta go to bed.
Mm. Sucks getting old.
Well, let me tell you, I had to pop some Advil because I was standing for hours
Oh,
and
I'm sure.
hours, and I was like, oh my God. Like I think when I think it was Honey Dijon who was apparently DJing. I was a little too far away and I couldn't quite tell. I don't think it was, but whoever was DJing when they finished at 9 o'clock, there was an announcement that they said it'll be 30 minutes. And the audience was like, yay. And I turned to everybody around me. I'm like, she's not coming on in 30 minutes. I was like, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be at least 45 to an hour. She came on at 10:05, somewhere around there. So not, I mean, still it's fine, but
I don't understand anybody who complains about the late shows. Like, you know what you're getting into. You should just plan accordingly.
yep.
Like, she's always been a night owl.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and
She has,
and that's a trait that only gets increased as you get older. You're either a morning person or a night person, and that
right.
doesn't really change.
Yeah. Well, plus
Okay.
I told people, I was like, look, I'm like, to Madonna, she's never had a 9 to 5 schedule. So the concept of like getting up early for work. It doesn't apply to her. It's
No, it
she
doesn't.
doesn't live this world.
So somebody in the chat who was at the show tonight said that it was a DJ called Kitty Smile.
Okay. Again, I got in late. So let me tell you, the line to get in was no joke. So
Really?
I was in the back section of the floor. I did not have early access. And I of course, my day was a little crazy because I was with friends and I had to charge my phone and change and then get to the venue. And so I got to the venue around 7:15 and the line was already like wrapping around and this and I was like, "Oh my God, this is the line." I got in line. I was in line for an hour. I felt bad for the people who were getting in line after me because the line I posted the video on Instagram. It just wrapped and wrapped and wrapped.
This is for the floor seating?
Yeah. So the VIP, like
Um,
the if you have seating in from the catwalks to the stage, they're in sooner. I think a lot of the VIP people have early entrance, but I did not. I had plain old regular seats and standing in the back. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
now if you get there sooner, you will get closer in those. So you could actually, like had I gotten there in maybe an hour or two earlier, I would have been closer up but I'm tall, thankfully. So I was able to see a pretty good vantage point. And when she was at the middle catwalk at the end, she was super close. But I felt bad for some of the women around me. I mean, they were like Liberty's height, like they were tiny.
Oh, teeny tiny.
They were turning to me halfway through the show, being like, "Where is she?" Because they couldn't see. Like I was like, "She's over there."
Yeah, you and I are in that 6 foot plus club where
Yeah,
we go to concerts and I mean, unless somebody sits down in front of you with a giant headpiece at the Oscars, you're always going to be able to see
exactly,
everything. So, okay,
exactly.
let's dive into the show.
Let's do it.
My first question is, did you in any way, shape, or form get to hear Candy Shop?
Sadly, no. I was like, I kept thinking, I'm like, maybe they'll play it like, I know, maybe they'll play it in like in the mix before she comes on. They did not.
For the audience, we constantly rib Stefan because of his undying
uh,
love for Candy Shop, and I would be happy to never ever hear it again. Um, okay, so your take on the big opening number that so many people have just been like, okay, you've watched it a bazillion times on YouTube, you've
yes,
talked to a dozen people about it. Give us your take.
it is epic. Like her coming out when it's hearing Bob do his spiel live in person is wonderful. He makes a lot more sense being able to see the show from beginning to end and how he sort of fits into the equation. And I actually think they could have used him a little bit more than they did. But he comes in and out really well, and he does. The audience loves him in the very beginning. It's because he's so dressed up, and he does get them. And when he says, "This isn't a party, it's a celebration, Bishop," and everyone went wild. And then the smoke starts, and Madonna comes circling around, and everyone. It's just such an epic, wonderful moment. And it really gets people. I mean, it's the first time people are seeing her. So everyone's up, everyone's crazed. It's wonderful.
Oh, excellent. So it
She was a
met your
little so
expectations.
she was a little far away at that point. So because
Mhm.
of where I was on the floor, she's at the front of the stage. I mean, so far. I mean, she's tiny, tiny, tiny. Um, that's why I was like, I'm not even gonna try to film this because I'm like, I have the new iPhone and my Zoom is pretty good, but it's not a stellar camera. Like there was some girl in front of me. She kept, God bless her shoulder muscles because she was able to like hold that phone up for like 5 minutes. I'm like, girl, how are you doing this? Like
Wow.
my muscles were getting tired after like 2 minutes. And I was like, as I'm watching the show between her arms and the phone because the phone was right on my eye line when she was holding it up. And I was like, girl, no one's watching your shitty iPhone footage after this. I'm like, I can barely see what you're filming. Anyway,
I- It's
it
what
gave her
people
something to
do.
do, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's very strange to me that people don't just watch the show and make a memory of it? I mean,
I did film some stuff, took a couple quick pictures just so that I had it. But for the most part, like when Madonna would come and stand in front of us, I was just like, oh, there she is.
yeah, her tiny little beautiful cat-eyed self. But
Hmm.
you could see it on the video projections, yes, just fine.
Yeah, yeah. There was some times where she wasn't on the video projection, but for the most part, like nothing really matters. I mean, she's huge on the screen, so
Hmm.
and she looks
Hmm.
gorgeous. She looks beautiful, like absolutely flawless. It's amazing.
So highlights in that first section for you.
Um, what was I mean, the 1, 2, 3 punch of like nothing really matters into everybody into the groove is really really great. I mean, it's that first section is really great. She does stop to talk for a moment and then she goes into burning up. Um, and
But
then
that's not when she does her speech, right? She
she
does the
does do a
speech.
speech before she
Oh,
does a
what?
speech.
So what
I
was her speech tonight? Do you
Oh, see,
remember?
I'm becoming one of those people that's like, I don't remember anything. Uh, I
Mm-mm.
I
Slag
filmed
him off in the comments, people.
Stop it. I filmed it so that way
Okay.
I could at least put it on a future show or put it on because I was like, I'm not going to remember this, so I filmed it. So at least I'll have the
Mm-mm-mm.
audio.
You
Um,
are a bad Gemini.
there's a lot to
Okay.
go. There's a lot to take in. So then she's just burning up. I gotta say, out of all of the old songs, actually any of the songs, I was shocked at how little the people around me did not know the songs. Like banner Madonna songs, people were not like, I heard nobody singing except for like the girl next to me. Nobody singing Burning Up. Some people were singing Holiday, but like, I don't know if it was just a cultural thing. Like it was very quiet. And I was on the floor and people,
Let's ask this of the chat. Is it Parisian to sing along or to be quiet? Hopefully somebody answers that
I
here in a
mean,
minute.
I felt bad because all of those people that were holding up videos around me, I'm like, they're gonna hear me wailing next
Right, right.
time.
So backing up to the tour merch on the way in, was the bomber jacket back?
No, I did not see a
Oh,
bomber jacket. I only saw t-shirts. Um,
oh,
got my one t-shirt.
oh. Yeah,
Lolita.
that's the one I would probably get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there was no new merch. There was no bomber jacket from what I saw. Um, and yeah, the merch stand, at least where I was on that merch stand by the floor was very tiny. So
Mm.
maybe there was a bomber jacket somewhere else in the venue, but I could only get to the floor one. Um, but um, Open Your Heart was great and fun. I mean, again, I knew the show, but it was fun to sort of see some numbers for the first time live and sort of
Hmm.
see how they were connecting from one to another and how the staging was done because I was far enough away that I was able to see the screens and the dancers and how things were weaving. Holiday was great. I love Holiday. I mean, that's it's such a well choreographed number. Her with the dancers doing the
Hmm. Hmm.
that whole I want your love, like it's really really good. And yeah, she's having fun and she's moving well. And when she's doing Into the Groove, she's moving, like she's dancing on that catwalk, and I was like, good for you, Madonna.
Excellent. So let's see from the chat, Jan, who was also at Paris tonight in the A section of floor, he was at floor A,
Lucky
reports
Jan.
that nobody in his area was singing during Burning Up. So maybe that wasn't a hit for the Parisian
Yeah,
flair.
it's there
And
was
then and then somebody else reports that she talked about Paris and that she claimed they're saying that she said she shot something at the Paris Opera
Oh,
House
yes. Oh
yesterday.
my God. So yes, she was saying, I hope you all, thank you for reminding me. I hope you all realize how fortunate, because she was saying how she's lucky. She feels great to be back in Paris. She loves being in the city. Do you realize how beautiful it is here and how lucky you are to live here? And she goes, I was at the opera filming something the other day, yesterday. And she was like, it was so beautiful. She says, "Do you know how lucky?" And I was like, "What was she filming?" And you know me, Ben. Of
The
course, my
Max
goes,
Martin song.
"Uh-huh."
I could hear you from Paris.
I was like, there was no one around me who would have appreciated it, and like the language barrier was a little
Yeah.
tough because some people like don't speak really well, really good English, which is fine because I speak horrific French. As I'm like, je m'appelle Stefan, and that's about it. But I was like, I just wanted to turn to somebody and be like, what was she filming? Was it a
Right. You wanted
video?
to kiki. I
Yeah,
totally,
yeah. And I was like,
yeah,
there was
yeah,
no
yeah,
one around to
yeah.
do that. So, but yeah, I'm curious what she filmed. So she
Yeah, I
filmed
do wonder.
something,
And
and
she said film, so it wasn't a photo
she
shoot,
said film.
folks.
It was not photo shoot, and I was like, that was a very choice phrasing, and I
I'm
was
trying
like,
to remember. I did look at Instagram earlier today, and I don't remember Ricardo being at the opera house because
so
I
if
do know what that opera house looks like.
I like to think in my head, the dream is that she was filming a video for some new song, and I love knowing that she's doing stuff while the tour is going on because I
It's
don't
very,
feel.
I'm going to tell you a secret, which I like.
Mhm. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, that's good. That's good. That's good to know that it's not just the tour that's she's actually doing some other stuff. So
Oh
I was
yeah.
I was happy.
She's she's back out there living her life after her big scare. Yeah, that doesn't
I
surprise
think
me at
so.
all.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Uh
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
oh, keep going. We did get a couple of questions, but I want to save those until after. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to remember the set list. So after the speech,
So
and then it's Papa, right?
after holiday, there's a little bit of um the song that she wrote that's on Erotica um
Bad,
about
no,
no.
bad girl.
He was only
She did
26
some In This Life.
in this.
Oh,
She's not.
yeah,
It's like
it's
an
an intro.
interlude,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so into Live to Tell,
Oh,
and
you have to tell me how that was like, because you
it
know how
is
I feel about that.
as epic as everyone says. It's just, and when the music for Live to Tell began, I was surprised at the huge applause that the crowd gave. It was like instantaneously. And maybe I just never realized how big of a song Live to Tell is to people. But as soon as it started, people were cheering, and like the whole auditorium started to cheer, which was
Oh, wow.
really great to hear. And the moment she started rising up in that little box, I take it for granted thinking everyone knows the show, but some of these people around me, like I was asking them, they had never seen Madonna before. This was their first time seeing her.
Oh, wow.
There was a lot of young, like early 20s people around me. Some people were there with their parents. Um, I was asking some of the girls, I was like, oh, have you seen Madonna? They're like, no, this is the first time. So it was really interesting to sort of see the crowd and the eclecticism of, I'm so used to going to a show in New York where it's like a
It's
legion of gay men. It's
it's
just like,
everybody our age who can
yeah,
like tell you every factoid and
yeah,
every story of
exactly.
her life and the oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
totally.
it was a very different crowd, which was really great to see. And I mean, but uh that moment when she's in the box for Live to Tell, everyone had their cameras up. Like they were, because I think it was such a wow moment of her traveling and then coming so close. She was right overhead. So yeah, it was powerful. It was
The
really good.
box comes up or does it come down?
It goes up. She starts on the floor midway through the, like towards the front of the stage,
Okay,
and
okay.
then it goes up, travels to the right, like stage left, I guess, comes back on the floor, goes around. So it's basically doing like a square.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the screens are all coming down. I mean, it's so honestly, if you're able to see the show from a little further back, you're gonna get. I was so wowed being able to take it all in from that vantage point, because you can see the screens, you can see like the stage as a whole, you can see where the dancers are moving, and it was amazing. It was beautiful,
Oh,
and of
excellent.
course,
Yeah.
like the work that the AIDS Memorial has done,
Oh,
that is so beautiful.
just amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose it during that section. I already know. So, all right, so keep going after that. That's the end of the first act, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, so the second section where she's like erotica into there's so hold on. I just want to say, I said this in my post. If you think you've seen the show or that you've been spoiled by watching either a live stream or a YouTube video or two or three, you are not spoiling yourself. You are not prepared for the show when you see it in person, because I felt like I thought I knew the show because I've been talking about it and watching it, and I was constantly surprised by, oh, that's this part, or oh, that's how this happens, or that, like, just being able to see it all in person. It's a very different experience. You're not shortchanging yourself if you're watching stuff online. You're going to be fine. You're going to love. It's going to be a whole new world when you see it in person. Um, I'm not going to go chronologically because I'm forgetting things. I want
Well,
to say,
like a prayer is after Live to Tell. We have to talk about that.
oh, so wow, her dancers. I feel bad for having eaten all of the French pastries that I've been eating,
You're
because
eating them for them.
seriously, I'm like, wow, their bodies when they're hanging from the rafters and like the twists and turns, the choreography for Like a Prayer is amazing, and her dancers look phenomenal. Um, Like a Prayer got a big crowd response. That's definitely a big crowd pleaser. They all knew that one. Um, what else? What else? What else did I love? Oh,
Well,
I
then we get into the second act, which has like the snippet that has a bunch of songs, and then it's of course erotica.
Erotica. She looks great. I had to marvel at the fact that she's dancing and moving on stage in a red negligee. Like, it was just so brazen and ballsy in my mind, because I'm like, it's not a typical tour outfit. She's basically just up
Right.
in lingerie. And
She's in her bad girl. Instead of her Vogue tights, she's in her bad girl outfit.
yeah, I mean,
The wig. How does it look in person?
fine. Yeah, I mean, that's not my favorite look of the show. But I mean, erotica it's good. I don't know if the audience knew what to make of that section of the show,
Hmm.
from erotica into
I love that choreo for Justify My Love. I know that number has gotten bleh from a lot of people on Twitter and like that. But when I watch the video of the choreo for that section, I'm like, oh, that's going to also be a highlight.
yeah, there was the moment when it's almost like there's like an orgy happening on
Hmm. Which
stage,
we're
and
which we're here for. We stand that. So I'm just
absolutely,
saying.
well, because I love that she was sort of like in control of it. She was like
Well,
dead
duh.
center, and it's happening around her, and she's sort of just
Hmm.
like the mother of the orgy.
It's like that part in Girly Show that was kind of like that. Just she's not quite as involved, and nobody's getting their crack rubbed the way Carlton was doing. What's his face
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
time?
Um,
Oh,
I mean, the whole boxing motif is great and fun, and her dancers look amazing while they're doing it. And I mean, the background video work is fantastic. Like, they have done such a good, it looks chic, it looks expensive, like everything works and flows really well from one part to another to the next. Um,
so question.
Mercy was gorgeous on
Well,
that
but
piano.
before we get to Bad Girl, I always forget that after Justify is Fever and Hung Up. Does she actually sing
A
Fever?
small little, it's like a refrain. She's like, yeah,
Okay.
she's like, it's a couple bars, and then
Okay.
yes, then it's weird. It's a strange juxtaposition of going from fever and then all of a sudden her cell phone rings and she's like, "Who's calling me?"
Oh,
And I
is
was
it Tokisha?
like, "It's Tokisha."
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
it
yeah.
goes into hung up on Tokisha. And I gotta say, the audience was there for hung up on Tokisha.
Mhm.
That got everyone on the floor moving. I was like, I'm looking around, I'm like, do they know Takesha or is this just like the
It's the
sound?
TikTok. It
Yeah,
was the TikTok.
I'm
You
telling you,
were you
like
were surrounded by TikTok people.
they
Yeah.
were loving the Takesha hung up. But and then as the ABBA sample starts coming in from behind, the frenzy of everyone around. It was as if like and I didn't again, I mean I know Hung Up is a big song of hers, but I always because I'm a huge Madonna fan, I always just think the songs are bigger because I listen to them all the time. So I'm like, oh, people don't really know Hung Up. No, no, no. It was like huge. People, every phone going up. My phone went up. I was like, I gotta get this because she was right in front of us. I was like, so yeah, it was a good moment.
Uh,
It was a good.
so then it goes into the little ballroom thing, and they do Vogue, and they do the ballroom
Well,
thing.
no,
Do they
bad girl, bad girl, bad girl.
Bad Girl, and then it goes into that. So
Mhm.
talk on Mercy on Bad
I
Girl.
mean, gorgeous piano playing. Like she said, and Madonna makes sure to call her out. This is my daughter, Mercy James, on piano, and everyone applauded. Like when people were crazy over Mercy. It was, I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, we've all
and
gotten to hear it on her Instagram. Like she's quite talented. Like it's
yeah,
kind of ridiculous.
it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
she plays like this classical piece before Bad Girl, and then
Mm.
Madonna launches into Bad Girl. It is as wonderful as everyone has said.
Ah, I love that song.
Hearing her sing Bad Girl, when I saw it was on the set list, I was like, oh, this is great that I've never seen her sing it live, but I didn't think it would like not affect me, but like I didn't know it would be like I loved hearing it. I was so happy that she had that on the set list.
We've all had to wash our panties in the sink at one point, so we all relate to that song. We were watching that new David Fincher movie on Netflix, The
The
Killer,
Killer.
that's set in Paris, and halfway through it, I'm like, why isn't this as good as the Bad Girl video?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I
Mm-hmm.
digress.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have the whole ballroom scene and Vogue and all of
Yes.
that. Was that as fun as it looks on the
Yes. It's a lot of
videos?
fun. Everyone loved it. I recognized the guest and I don't remember her name. She's some big like artist in I think in Paris. She was wearing a somebody will know.
We'll see if Jan posts it.
Yes.
He was there tonight.
She had some really funky, crazy like pillow outfit. Like it was like this black, all
Oh.
black, but um she was having fun. Madonna was having fun. The dancers again, amazing. Their bodies are just like
Oh, Liberty is with us and says that one day that'll be her son Carlo on piano.
Liberty said she had dinner plans, so she
Well,
couldn't
maybe they
join this.
finished. I don't know.
So she couldn't join this Zoom. Because I asked her, I was like, Ben might not be able to make it. And I'm falling asleep, Liberty. Can you keep me company on Zoom? And she's like, no, I have
Well,
dinner.
we're here. Well, I mean, maybe she was eating. Maybe she's talking while she's eating.
That's yeah, I'm dinner
Uh,
entertainment.
Okay, so after all that, is human nature and crazy for you? Do we actually get those in full
They're
or
not
just
full songs.
pieces?
No,
Okay.
it's like a verse and a chorus of Human Nature, maybe a tiny little bit more, but not much. And then it's like a little bit of Crazy for You, and then it ends. Yeah, they're not full songs, which is fine.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get into Act Three, which starts with the Beast Within, which we've talked about before on the podcast because I believe you were the one who was like, "I've seen it all before. I've seen it all before."
Yes.
Yada yada
Yes.
yada.
Yes.
And I think Tony and I were like, I would watch the Beast Within in whatever version she ever wants
Yes.
to do it. It's like
So,
amazing.
so I will preface this by saying, yes, I was not enthused to have to sit through Beast Within again. However, that being said, the dancers perform amazing on this. It is wonderful to watch. I love that I can still quote the Beast Within Book of Revelations text. The one girl saw me quoting the like talking like basically word for wording the and she was just looking at me like, how the f does he know this?
Oh my
Yeah, no,
God.
it's good. I mean, if you are looking forward to Beast Within, you are going to love Beast
Oh,
Within.
excellent. I am looking forward to it. Of course, then there's the witchy choreo on Die Another Day. Was that as cool in person as it looks on the video?
That is probably my favorite number from the show.
Really?
I was so excited to finally see it in person, and I was just gobsmacked watching it. I could not. It is such a wow number in my mind. Her choreography, like the is it Lahore, Latour? Who's the
Le
choreographer?
Horde.
Okay, their
I didn't
choreo
pronounce that right. Forgive me,
their
Paris.
their choreography is astoundingly good, and the way that they staged it, the dancers are all over the place, and the look, and then towards the like at the very end, all the lasers that are going on. I was like just standing there watching. I was like, wow, this is phenomenal. And I gotta say, it has been a while since I've been to a big arena show like that. And hearing her music on a great sound system was fantastic. I hearing her the beats and the song, like it was so, and Die Another Day. No, I mean, hearing the bass and hearing like it was just so good. It was so good. And I was like, again, I turned to the girl when the beginning of Die Another Day started. I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited to watch this. And she had no idea what like she had no
Yeah,
idea why. She it's like it
and
was just like over her head.
that's the beauty of Stewart because he knows how to rearrange and engineer those songs. Because Mirway, even his like heavy dance bass, yeah, it's headphones music. It's
Yeah.
not. I mean, that was something that Stewart took care of on Reinvention with all of
Right.
music and American Life. Like he made
It,
the
it's
stadium
it's almost as
ready.
if like Mirway's it's a very stripped out
Mm.
sound, and Stewart fills it like it just sounds richer and fuller. And yeah, I mean it's I hope that they don't overproduce the live album for this, because the arrangements of the songs are top notch. It's so good.
So does she give her big speech before or after Don't Tell Me?
It's after Don't Tell Me. So
After,
she goes after Die Another Day. They go into Don't Tell Me,
right.
and she's having fun. I mean, it's she does a little shoot 'em up with Bob, and Bob the rodeo clown,
Oh
and
my God.
then uh then she has a speech, and she talks about her mom, and like I mean she said this stuff before, but like how growing up she thought all like she equated being a mother with death, because her mom had had all these kids and then died, and so she was like, well, why would I want to be a mom if that's what if you're going to die? And I mean, I know she said that before, and so she's it was nothing new that she had said, but she had, and then also she had talked about there's so much travesty going on in the world, and it always used to be like that, but because of social media we now see it more and more and more, and everyone here in this auditorium is capable of being a light to change. And so she had everyone turn their lights on their phones, and I got a little sweeping video of it that I'll post at some point. And it was just beautiful. It was such a beautiful moment to see all these lights on in the arena, and then um, what does she sing after that? Oh, I think that's, oh, she goes into, I think that's
That's
when she goes
mother and
into Mother
father
and
with
Father. Yeah, yeah.
with
And
David.
I gotta say, I recognize that I sometimes say, oh, I don't really care. I don't want to hear this song on tour. Or, I would have swapped it out for Candy Shop or whatever it is. But I was not enthused that Mother and Father was on the set list, because I was like, we've seen it on Reinvention. We don't,
Mm,
I'd rather have a hit. Loved it.
I
Loved it.
love that song.
Loved it.
That song is her vocal pocket. Like that whole stretch at the end of American Life, right? From Nobody Knows Me
Mm-hmm.
to basically Easy Ride is like her vocal pocket and it's
Yep.
her sonic pocket and like The only song I would have wanted to hear other than that would have been Intervention because she's not really
Mm,
done that in
yeah.
full live. Well, she did it on Tears of a Clown, but I don't count that. But anyway,
No, that's not an arena show. So
no, but
no, but
Mother and Father
it
is
sounds
just
really,
such a,
again,
yeah,
nobody knew that song. I was the only one
I'm
singing that
sure.
song.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. I was like, well, it was beautiful. And David playing on the guitar and sort of backup singing with her. They
He
sounded
he
great.
was he was the Monty Pittman in
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ghost guitar player.
Yep.
Okay, so then we get the acoustic I Will Survive, right?
She sang that. Yep.
She didn't
There was
very
nothing new. There was no causing a commotion. There
So
was
then we
no
get La Isla Bonita, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina.
crowd pleaser. Everyone
Of
loved La
course.
Isla. She
Yeah.
goes in La Isla Bonita and people were through the roof. I mean, they were loving it.
Yeah. And then we get is does she do all of Don't Cry for Me?
No, it's just a couple.
Yeah, she didn't want to pay for the full rights.
The she was wearing the pride flag again, and
Oh.
people were applauding to that, and yeah, that got a big applause. And then what comes after that? What's after?
Well, then it's the intermission of I Don't Search, I Find.
Yes, actually, I enjoyed that. That was it. It was a nice interlude. I mean, it's just an interlude, you know.
Was that the archival footage also? I've never
Yes,
actually seen what that is on the internet yet.
yes. I think that's the big montage of like clips and stuff.
Okay. And then we get bedtime story, like for real or just like
The whole song bedtime story is she starts standing and then the box comes up and it's really cool to see that in person.
hmm
I was able to zoom in because it was happening right in front of me. I thought it was on the side and it wasn't. It's the middle catwalk and I was right there, so I was able to zoom in and get some like really trippy footage of her on the box
And
turning
this is with
around.
the sparkly Versace and the big cape.
No, not
Oh,
the
the
cape.
cape is gone already.
No, she doesn't. She puts the cape on after. So she does bedtime story into Ray of Light, and a Ray of Light. And Ray of Light was pretty kick ass. I like her floating around, going crazy. It was really good. Then when she comes down, she goes into Rain, and
And has the cape.
they put the cape
Okay,
on, and that's
okay.
very dramatic. It's not. I don't think it's not the full song of Rain. It ends at the. It's like that. Here comes the sun part. They just stop it there.
So who's doing the harmonies on Rain?
I
Or is it just
I
like
guess
invisible backup singers or
it's got to
trap
be.
or
I think it's pre-recorded, Nikki and Donna.
really?
I don't think there are no backup singers on stage with her ever. So I think it's pre-recorded backup vocals.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Liberty's over here talking about you throwing your undies and flashing your pecs. Like she must have had a drink with dinner. I don't know what's going on over
What is
there.
she saying? She's talking
She
smack in
says,
the chat.
"Tell us about the part where you threw your undies on stage and flashed your pecs,
That
causing
did not
trouble in the
happen.
chat."
That did not happen.
So then after Rain, it's another quickie interlude, right? Of
Yeah.
like a virgin
So
with a bunch of other stuff.
that's the Michael Jackson like a virgin interlude. I will say that's the only thing that sort of comes out of left field. I feel like I don't know if it was I don't feel it's placed properly in the show because I feel like she starts in the 80s and we sort of go out of that by the end of the show and then
hmm
we sort of snap back to that. So it just I felt like maybe it should have come sooner in the show than it did, but I don't know where and how, but
I feel like that it was like a whole thing that she probably wanted to do with like her, Michael, and Prince, and Prince's estate was probably like, no. And
yeah.
Michael's estate was like, give us the money.
Yeah. Yeah, they were like more than happy. Well,
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I will say people loved it. People were filming it left and right. I mean,
Oh
as
yeah.
soon as they heard the Billie Jean music, I mean, people were loving
hmm
it. And I was watching it from, trying to be objective as possible. And I have to say, it is amazing that silhouettes of these two artists are as recognizable as they are. Like it's just a silhouette, and you're like, that's Michael Jackson, that's Madonna. Like it's so interesting how that simple and you recognize
And
them.
even the TikTokies around you like knew who
Everyone,
it was.
everyone.
Oh,
I mean,
excellent,
it was
excellent.
crazy. It was crazy.
It is interesting that acts 4 and 5 are so teeny tiny. They're kind of like the encores.
Yeah,
We're just used to 4 acts and then an encore or two, but
yeah.
she's got 3 big long acts and then these 2 tiny ones at the end that kind of are the encore.
It is. It is. It's. I think the Michael Jackson thing is literally so she can costume change.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, because then she gets into the weird granny with a veil outfit from the MTV, the VMAs for the
I
closing, which I love it. It's so
I
absurd and
love.
bizarre.
So no, so people did not know "Bitch I'm Madonna." They
Oh,
they did not know that song, but I was just singing it and loving it, and it's so funny how she's just acting kind of like weird and like goofy, and I was like, "Go on, Madonna, you go." Um,
and this is when she's surrounded during Bitch
but
I'm Madonna is when they're all in it's like a performance version of
the VMAs,
the VMAs from '99. Yeah,
yeah,
when it
yeah,
was all drag queens.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty funny. I think it's an appropriate closer, and
She's
then
probably barely able to contain her own laughter at just seeing all of it and being like, God damn, I'm ridiculous.
yeah,
Like in the best way possible. Like
yeah, and
that
then
would have to make you feel good. It's like,
I
yeah.
loved it. I love like her behavior, the way she's like performing and just doing these silly faces and whatnot. It's like it's quintessential Madonna. It's wonderful.
Right, right. So
Um,
then it's celebration mashed up
ish,
with
ish.
music,
I mean,
or
it's
is it
like
all
it's
music?
like it basically bitch and Madonna ends, and then she's saying good night, like goodbye, and so like you hear a little bit of celebration, a little bit of music makes it, like, but and then it's just Bob saying Madonna, Madonna, and then he says like 4 times, and then the music ends. It's like probably like 30 seconds, and
Oh
she
wow.
puts the veil over her head and snaps the fan, and then as she says good night Paris, and that's it. That's the end of the show.
Yeah, so Bitch I'm Madonna is actually the encore.
That's the encore. And then I would say that like celebration and music is like the music that plays over the credits. Like
Yeah, it's
it's
the outro music.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Is it a new mashup of the two that Stewart has put together, or they
ish.
just sort of
Yeah, ish.
okay?
I mean, it's yeah, it barely anything. I mean, I was
I mean,
surprised we didn't
they
get more
both have her
celebration.
weird yeah, that she does in music and celebration.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that
Um,
twangy little weird thing that she does.
But yeah, when she sings live, because there are some parts where she's not singing live. I mean, I'm not gonna say that she's singing live the whole time. She's not. But I didn't care. Like,
Yeah, who cares?
there's moments where yes, she's singing live. She sounds great. I loved it. And then there's other parts where I'm just like, I don't care. Let her rest her voice. Because honestly, if she was singing the whole show, we'd probably have some cancellations because her vocal cords would go. So y'all be thankful she's not singing the whole show.
And she would be going on at like midnight
Right. I
because
mean, it
she'd
was
have to
late.
be like,
I think the show ended at 20 after 12. So it was a late end.
wow. So it's like solid 2.5 hours.
About, yeah. Yeah, yeah. What's happening in
Wow.
the chat? I'm
Oh, just
starting to fade. So
you're starting
we're
to
gonna wrap
fade.
up this live.
Jan, who went to the same show, already told us bon nuit and logged off.
Yep.
So,
Well, it's because
um,
it's basically 2:45 a.m. right now here in
yeah,
Texas.
people have been asking some questions, and Liberty has been doing side hustle duty in the chat of answering those questions, so we didn't have to answer
Oh,
them in
thanks,
the
Liberty.
and several people are saying good night, even though we have 147 people watching live. We're at the
Um,
most people we've had the whole 45 minutes. But some of the people who've been here from the beginning are also like going to bed. And it's
is
totally
it
understandable if you need to go to bed.
Well,
What would you
I was telling you, I was a little high from the show, and like I
mhm.
wouldn't have been able to. I would have just been lying here asleep anyway. This was good because I've been able to sort of center
Yeah.
myself and
Top three things on the show though before we go. Top three
all three
things.
things. I
Name your
mean,
top three.
and I'll do in
Start at number three and go up.
oh no, I was going to do nothing really, and this is not in any nothing really matters. Die Another Day. What was number three? Mm, oh, that's tough. I want to say Holiday. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. I will say.
Okay.
I mean, Bad Girl, Mother and Father. I mean, there were moments that surprised me that I was like, oh, I'm not gonna love this as much as I thought. But like tonight, I was about the wow moments and upbeat. And so I think but I'm seeing the show again tomorrow. And well, you don't come to Paris and see her once.
No, no.
you know,
Actually, there's a couple people in the chat who are flying into Paris tomorrow to see the show tomorrow night. So
nice. Well,
they
I only saw one person who recognized me tonight.
Aw.
So, which was cute. I mean, because he was like, all of a sudden I heard my name, and I'm blanking on his name right now, but he bless him, he's from London, and he told me that I was doing the Lord's work, and I was like, "You're welcome."
Aw.
So yeah, so
That's super
if you
cute.
see me at the show, please say hello. It'd be lovely to chat.
Now, did you get Liberty to go live tomorrow night?
No, but if she's not having dinner and would like to go live.
Yeah, you guys, you two work that out. I'll be seeing Jinx and Daylaw tomorrow night, so
Oh, nice.
I can't do it tomorrow night.
Oh,
But
nice. Okay. Well,
yeah,
Liberty, I'll chat with her
we're going to
offline.
see the holiday show.
'Tis the season.
Tis the season to see drag queens make fun of Christmas. So
Yes. And by
excellent.
drag queen, we don't mean Mariah Carey.
No, that's just a drag.
Stop it.
Uh-oh, the lambs are gonna come and
I was gonna
silence
say
my
we're gonna
ass.
get shut down.
I don't care.
All right. Well, before we go, remember everybody, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at MLVC Podcast. If you'd like to donate to the show, help keep the show going to our subscription costs, not to Madonna tickets, because I don't do that. You can drop us a tip on Venmo at MLVC Podcast, or if you've not subscribed to this YouTube channel that you're watching this on, tick that subscribe button so you never miss a video. We're going to be going live multiple times through the rest of the run of the celebration tour, because if Madonna can do it, so can we.
That's right.
Otherwise,
Keep that voice limber,
I
Stefan.
know I'm gonna have some hot tea in the morning.
Better you than me. Oy.
Some Parisian tea with maybe a little pain au raisin. And
You better
oh,
get a croissant.
let me tell you, Ben, there's a pastry shop in the neighborhood.
Don't even talk to me. I had my physical last week. I need to stay away from that stuff.
It was so
Lord help
good. I
me.
was
Oh
like,
my
I'm gonna
God.
gain so much weight on this trip.
Mm-mm. I'm about to have to act a contrition till death do me part. Listen, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. All right, everybody, that is the show. We are going off live. Thank you for joining us. You got Stefan's official review. Get
Au
ready.
revoir. Au
Au
revoir,
revoir.
mes amis.
Bonne nuit.
Oh yeah, bon nuit, bon nuit. I know my French is terrible.
Here, kill the YouTube live.